reading comprehension is a question type that we have been working on since our childhood days. So it would be reasonable to assume that we would be great at it. But that's not the case for many test takers. In fact, it's one of the hardest question types to improve upon. So today we'll discuss why this is so and what we can do to improve our skills in it. The first reason why many of us struggle with RC is that we have slow reading speeds. To do well, we do need a speed of at least 300 words per minute, which is actually about the average reading speed of an adult. But anything less than that, and we are sure to struggle. Not only in GMAT, but also during our MBA, and in fact in our work life too later on. So that is why it makes sense to improve our reading speed right now. Now, how we'll discuss in just a few minutes. Now, the second reason is that most of us know little about the topics outside our field of work, or let's say interest also. So if I studied economics and business in my undergrad, I will likely be comfortable with any passage on those topics. But say you give me a passage on natural sciences or on psychology or on law, I'm sure that I'll feel a little lost there, right? Not many of us read books and magazines on topics which are outside our field of interest, but GMAT picks its passages from various topics. So this is the second problem. Now, finally, the third problem is that we may not really understand what the test maker wants from us. We may not really understand what the question is asking from us. So that is why for that we need to understand the various question types and we need to know what exactly to focus on in each. So now we look at how to address each one of these issues. Now, before you start working on increasing your speed, you need to find out what your current speed is. So you can use the speed test which we have given in the module. Know that if you're at 500 or more words per minute, then you're already great. You should just move on to the next point. But if you're at less than 300 words per minute, then it is a problem. So what do you do in case you're at less than 300 words per minute? The following 4 guidelines will help you improve. Now, between 300 to 500, you can pretty much manage. You don't really need to worry about your reading speed, but there's no harm in practicing and trying to read faster. Okay, so the 4 guidelines that will help you improve. First, stop monologuing. Now, what is that? Look, so elementary school teachers often ask young readers to read aloud. It helps them find out whether the reading skills are developing properly, whether pronunciations are correct, etc. But as we grow up, we are told to read in our mind, and that becomes a habit. We don't need to say out the words in our mind. Just looking at them is enough for our mind to understand them. Look, we cannot talk at a speed of more than 300 words per minute, but many adept readers can read thousands of words per minute. So this habit of sub-vocalization, that is saying out the words in our mind, that leads to slow speeds. Now, be aware of it and try to avoid it. Just looking at the words is enough for our brain to comprehend them. We don't need to say them out in our mind. So try to read faster without giving yourself time to sub-vocalize. So the second way in which you can improve your reading speed is that you should read phrases, not words. What that means is that, again, this habit also starts from our early years, because in our early years, we are told to read every word. What does our teacher say? Read every word carefully. So what do we start doing? We start focusing our eyes on every word one at a time. But what the adults or what the teachers are actually telling us is that do not miss any details. For that, you don't have to focus your eye on every word. Because that slows our reading speed, and in fact it even reduces our comprehension. We're not able to connect the words with each other. So what we need to do is read phrases of 3 or 4 words together. So how we do this? By using a peripheral vision. It is again a matter of habit. You break down a long line of words into some smaller chunks and then move from one chunk to the other very quickly. With some effort and some practice, you will be able to comprehend and you will be able to take in the entire chunk in one go. Now, third thing that you can do is that you should read under time constraint. So you train your mind to read faster by forcing you to read it with less time on hand. Say you're reading a book Right now, note down the time before you start a chapter and read at your normal pace. Now, note down the time when you complete the chapter. So, check how many seconds or minutes did you take per page of that chapter. Now, see how many pages are there in the next chapter. Give yourself a little less time per page for the next chapter. So, say if you read the previous chapter at 2 minutes per page, give yourself 18 minutes for a 10-page chapter next time. So, that is not 20 minutes, because ideally you would at your normal pace require 20 minutes to read that 10-page chapter, but you give yourself only 18 minutes. So, create that urgency in which you say, for example, if you are given a report, you need to read the report and write your comments very quickly and send them to your manager. What will you do? You'll urgently read the report. You'll try to read faster, but of course your comprehension cannot go down, right? You have to read it and write your comments about it as well. So do exactly that and try to do that with every article or every passage you read. So finally, you need to practice these strategies. Which are the strategies? You stop monologuing. You read phrases, not just words, and you read under time constraint every time you read. Whether you are reading for GMAT or for work or for pleasure, it doesn't matter. Also, if you're not in a habit of reading regularly, develop it from today, an hour every day. It is absolutely essential for you to increase your reading speed and also to be aware of the various topics, to be comfortable with the various topics. Now, you can read fiction or non-fiction or magazines. Now, magazines, what kind of magazines? Normally students ask me, look, you can read any of those good quality publications. For example, let's say National Geographic or Business Today or say Oxford American or Discover or Entrepreneur or Scientific American or The Economist, whatever. But just ensure that you cover the various topic areas, the ones that you're not comfortable with too. Yeah, in fact, specifically the ones that you're not comfortable with. Okay, so now there are two types of passages on GMAT. One is explanatory or descriptive. What these passages do is that they describe an event, the reason or the order of the occurrence of an event. It usually consists of general statements, cause and effect about facts, etc. So it is similar to reporting, some events or incidents, or let's say people's opinions on something, etc. Now, the purpose of the passage could be to present, let's say, some evidence or explain an event or discuss two contrasting viewpoints or, let's say, outline recent findings, etc. So here, the author doesn't give his own opinion. He simply reports what is going on or what happened. But then the second type of passages on GMAT are analytical passages or the opinionated passages. Here, they are similar to editorials. Here the author does present his own opinion. Now, they discuss the impact or consequence of a given situation. Like, the passage could say, evaluate an assumption or establish that by happened or criticize the hypothesis of some researchers or dispute a certain viewpoint, whatever, right? The author writes this passage not to inform as he did in an explanatory passage, but to share his own opinion. So now every time you read an article in any newspaper, in any magazine, ask yourself whether it is explanatory or whether it is analytical.